Order, please.
Sorry.
All righty. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm calling to order the June 16th trustee meeting of the Mental Health Recovery Services Board. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown,
Present.
Major White, Mr. Albright,
Here.
Mr. Arnold,
Here.
Miss Banks, Miss Bell, Miss Carter, Miss Crockett, Dr. Elhai,
Here.
Miss Friedman,
Present.
Reverend Gordon,
Here.
Miss Harding,
Here.
Miss Howe, Mr. Lambert,
Here.
Miss Mendoza-Locke,
Here.
Mr. Ortley,
Here.
Miss Rodriguez, and Mr. Salas.
Here.
Oh, Major White. Oh, she was up there, sorry. That's it.
Quorum present. Very good. Recognition of visitors.
Richard Arnold, Stefan Galloway, board staff.
Alexandria Thomas Holland, neighborhood properties. Tina Mason, board staff.
Robert Gasperzak, board staff.
Jennifer Pierce, board staff.
Michael Carter, board staff.
Thank you. All right, determination of items to be removed from the consent agenda. I understand that we have one item, which would be 6E, to be removed and from the consent agenda.
Six what?
6E. We're going to vote on that separately.
I'd like to vote on, remove 6C from the consent agenda, please.
Go through each one so that everybody can say what.
Very good. All right, I'm going to read, again, item 6A, 6B. I understand 6C is to be removed. 6D, 6E. I understand 6E is going to be removed from the consent agenda. 6F, 6G, 6H, 7A, 7B. Very good.
Just making sure we're all in agreement. 7A includes both 1, 2, and 3.
1,
Any
2,
of
and
those can be removed. And 7B, 1, 2, and 3, any of those can be removed. Okay.
All righty. Is there a motion to approve all items except 6C and 6E from the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All righty. Those in favor of
It's a voice vote.
voice vote?
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Salas,
Yes.
Mr. Ortley,
Yes.
Miss Mendoza-Locke,
Yes.
Mr. Lambert,
Yes.
Miss Harding,
Yes.
Reverend Gordon,
Yes.
Miss Friedman,
Yes.
Dr. Elhai,
Yes.
Mr. Arnold,
Yes.
Mr. Albright.
Yes.
That's it.
Mr. Brown.
What's that?
Mr. Brown.
I can't vote.
All righty.
We go to 6C.
All right. We're going to take 6C.
Okay, thank you. Draw your attention to page 11, item 6C, new concepts fiscal year 27 6-month allocation. We discussed this in the Planning and Oversight Committee meeting. It was passed at that time. Since that time, there has been no additional information that has come to light pending this approval. So I guess understanding that and understanding we were all part of the previous conversation, I would just open it up for the conversation. Any questions or issues?
Ready. Motion to approve.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Albright,
No.
Mr. Arnold,
Yes.
Miss Carter,
Yes.
Dr. Elhai,
Yes.
Ms. Friedman,
Yes.
Reverend Gordon,
Yes.
Ms. Harding,
Yes.
Mr. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza Locke,
Yes.
Mr. Ortley,
Yes.
and Mr. Salas.
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
6E. Elijah.
All right, 6C, 6E, Elijah, please.
Yes, if you'll turn to page 13, you'll see the system of grant extension motion. Real quickly, this is for TASK and the system of care enhancement initiative that we received from the Department of Behavioral Health to enhance their work with the Department of Youth facilities throughout Ohio to serve Lucas County kids in those facilities and their families. This motion is not additional money. This is just to extend the agreement to the end of September, because currently it's to the end of June. So nothing changes, just the extension of the time. And you'll see a motion in the middle, page 13.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Salas,
Yes.
Mr. Ortley,
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza Locke,
Yes.
Mr. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Harding,
Yes.
Reverend Gordon,
Yes.
Ms. Friedman,
Yes.
Dr. Elhai,
Yes.
Ms. Carter,
Yes.
Mr. Arnold,
Abstain.
Mr. Albright.
Yes.
That's it.
Motion passes. All righty, moving on to item 8, NPI eviction prevention allocation, Elijah.
If you'll turn to page 52 of your packet, you'll see the write-up here. We were recently presented with an issue MPI is experiencing with the people they're serving and their inability to catch up on their rent payments. So currently, MPI is a large landlord that serves a lot of dual diagnosis individuals. Dual diagnosis being those with mental health and substance use disorders. They presented this to the board staff because they have a number of individuals who have fallen behind on their rent due to life circumstances, loss of job, things like that. And when they fall a month behind, they're put on a payment plan. A lot of these people are struggling to catch up on their payment plan, and the burden just compounds each month. There are a number of families and individuals who are actively trying to make payments. These can be partial payments. These can be inconsistent payments. So maybe they pay 1 month and the next month they don't have that additional, but they're trying to keep up on their rent, and then they pay the next month. A lot of families and individuals have fallen behind to the point where they might be facing eviction. So we're recommending an allocation of $30,162.28 to help up to 49 families prevent eviction by helping them catch up on their payment plan. This doesn't include individuals who are not actively trying to catch up on their plan. They have individuals who said, okay, I'm not gonna do it. We're targeting those individuals and families who are actively working on their payment plan. And then you'll see a little difference in the number there. So as of today, they have 42 individuals and families. They're anticipating 7 more starting July 1st. They have plans to have them on a plan because they've fallen behind. So this would help them prevent starting the plan for full 49 individual and their families. And so you'll see a motion to that effect. Just note, it would authorize the executive director to execute an agreement to that effect. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
2 questions. Has this happened in the past?
Yes, this has happened.
Okay. Second question. Well, actually 3 questions. Okay. Is it like the same cohort of groups of families year after year going through this? Or is it a different group every time?
Probably a mix. Different people. Like I said, what we're trying to do is target those families who are actively trying to pay back that. So they might be in a payment plan for a long time, and then something else happens, maybe they lose a job, or something else
So
happens.
my third question is, have we worked with Pathways to try to remedy this recidivism? Because I've seen this situation in the past, and I understand money's tight, but it's a budgeting issue, and they have really good protocols to help people make sure they don't get into this situation. I don't know if the answer to that, if we've ever joined forces with them.
I can't tell you the answer to that. I know NPI staff work very closely with the families on these plans, so they know, they have several meetings with them, trying to budget, trying to understand how to help them. So I do know they do that internally, and I would imagine they would look for other community resources to help them with that.
Yeah, my concern would be that every year, they might say the mental health board will cover us at the end, and that becomes like a self-perpetuating system. But I totally understand how you get behind on budgeting and that sort of thing. Thank you.
Yeah, and we understand that as well. That's why we wanted to target those families who are trying, and not the ones who have just decided, I'm gonna write this as long as I can.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So this $30,000 is the shortfall,
Yeah.
and so if we pay this and then they continue to make payments, what happens to that money that they pay?
They'll be paying their rent.
Right, but this is to make up the rent that they're behind.
Yes.
And so the payment plan that they're on is to catch up the rent that they're behind.
The payment plan is their rent plus a portion of the missed rent.
So some of that money would be returned to us when they make those payments?
I would say if that happens, it would.
But we're not
I
anticipating
don't
that
believe that will
happening.
happen, correct. But
So-
if that happens, yes, the expectation would be that it would come back to us.
So if we are, as you say, targeting people who are attempting to make payments, and we don't anticipate them making any payments, where does that leave us?
So they have been making payments of that for loss of job or some other circumstance. So these are different, and so we're talking about really two groups of people here. The ones who are on a payment plan who have said, I'm not gonna try to repay, I am fine, I'll just ride this out until NPI moves through the eviction process. This other group saying, okay, I can pay $5 extra here, or some other kind of plan. And then maybe, their grocery bills went up that month and so they couldn't. So that's the group of people we're targeting with this allocation.
Totally get that.
Yeah.
They're making extra payments beyond what they're obligated to pay every month in rent. If we're covering that here, right, we're covering the shortfall that they're behind. When they make those extra payments, where does that money go? Because
This
the
would clear
landlord's
their
gonna pay
ledger.
more.
This would clear their ledger.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're making payments in addition to their current rent.
Okay.
I think they're on some sort of.
Can you understand
mixed
why I thought they
pay-
were?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been compounding month after month after month. This sets it clear from this point.
So then what happened, I mean, obviously what got us here is gonna continue beyond this. So, and this has happened before. When do we anticipate facing this issue again? 6 months, 12 months? 18? What do you guys think?
Do we have a time period?
Alex from MPI, she's representing MPI today. Do you have anything you'd like to add to this conversation?
Can you go to the mic so?
By the way, I dig the song, by the way.
Come to the mic.
Alex, can you come to the mic?
Come to the mic.
Yes, sorry.
So question is, what is it gonna cover? Is it covering back owed rent or if they're double payments?
Well, I think satisfied my curiosity
Okay.
there. I'm wondering, if this has happened in the past and this is currently happening, there's, I think, good reason to think that it's gonna happen in the future.
Sure.
When?
So we meet with our clients often, and the staff, we have monthly meetings where we talk about back owed rents, who owes what's going on, what our interventions have been. So we continue, and again, this funding is only for the clients that are actively paying on their payment plan, so they're already showing that willingness. And then any additional interventions that we're trying to put in place, like connecting them to a mental health provider, budgeting classes, or doing any other added benefits to their budgeting so that they can continue to pay, they participate in those things. So these are those clients that we've identified. We also are seeking out additional funding sources so that the grants that we currently have, whether we're asking for additional funding to be able to support them with these payments, or meetings in the community to ensure that we're seeking alternative dollars, because a lot of it is driven by what's happening in the economy. So they are choosing to pay for potentially gas before they're paying for their rent, or they're paying for additional groceries before they're paying for their rent. So a lot of it is driven by what we're all facing in the economy, but we have noticed the trend has continued to go up. So beyond this meeting and this conversation, we're also having others to make sure that we can identify the problem and resolve it, and then make it a sustainable solution.
Talk a little bit about your plan for implementing, what's that called, the electronic?
The ACH?
Yeah.
Yep, so we have currently, anybody that's housed with us can drop off a check in our office. We can pick up the rent payments as well. You can pay online. We have what's called Rent Cafe, where individuals can go online and pay their rent, or we could do an ACH, which is an auto deduction. We rolled out Rent Cafe last year, but again, people will only be able to go in and pay when they're able to go in and pay. But with the rent deduction, they're giving us permission to go forward and pull that rent from their accounts. And so we're also pushing to do that within the next 7 days, to get that out to all of our clients, to ask for them to do ACH payments so that we can go forward and pull that rent deduction before it becomes an issue. Yes?
2 questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Number one, do you guys charge a percentage fee of the withdrawal or the
No.
charge like a credit card?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, from
Sure.
on what I know about MPI, are most of your folks like on Social Security or low income working?
Yeah, the majority are low income, and it varies amongst working or on Social Security. And then we also have some that are not, that are over income, so they're not subsidized by us, but they still meet the need for their mental health condition to be housed in permanent supportive housing. But it's a mix of Social Security and employment income, but the dominant is Social Security.
So the question is, how many of these are subsidized, that are on Social Security, not subsidized, that we're covering? That the mental health board is covering, there are behind in their rent.
I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, so to me, it would be more targeted to the folks that are on Social Security, that are clearly, they're behind. The other folks that are not subsidized, that's a different scale on that one. So I think for the next time around.
Yeah. Well, and I would say all these clients do
Yeah.
have that either mental health or dual diagnosis. That this is supported.
And I don't believe there's anybody on the list that's not subsidized, so they're paying their full market rent. But I can have our team do it, cross-check that just to give you that number. But I believe almost everyone that is listed in the dollar amount here is subsidized.
Yeah, I would, just because someone's not subsidized though, they may be just living right above that threshold.
Correct.
And, I personally don't think that should be a factor in that. What I'm encouraged to hear, and sort of was the question I was gonna ask initially, but Mr. Salas asked it, is that, we're essentially helping them bridge this gap.
Mm-hmm.
What is NPI actively doing?
Mm-hmm.
Say, okay, the mental health board helped you with this.
Right.
Let's not get you in the same boat
Right.
next year or
Mm-hmm.
6 months. And so I hear you talking about other things, but, to me, like if they get behind a month, again, that
Mhm.
should be a red flag that we need to step in. I will say, on a personal note, that having had a lot of experience with my clients who have been NPI tenants, and my case manager who I worked closely with some of your people, you guys have done a great job, so
Thank
I
you
just
very
wanna
much.
thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your questions. Yeah.
How did you come up with the $30,000? Did you simply take the number of people who are in that category and multiply it at a certain period of time?
So we do review monthly how many of our tenants are in have rent arrearages, and that total is how many are in rent arrearages and then how many are in the eviction process. So in total, we somewhere float between 80,000 to 90,000 individual in funding for rent arrearages, not individuals, but that's the dollar amount. But this number came about from the team gathering together their data and their notes and having conversations with the clients and pulling out who's actively participating based on their interactions with them.
At some point in time, that number reached $30,000.
Correct. So it's a much larger number, but the 30,000 is the amount that tenants owe that are actively paying on their repayment agreements.
And $30,000 will prevent them from being evicted.
That's correct. It would zero out their balance with us so that they could start fresh. So if they owed $300 and they were behind $600, we take that $600 and we split it up and put that in a repayment agreement. But sometimes that additional $20 per month is burdensome on them. So that would erase the $600 so they can start back fresh at the $300, if, as an example, if that was what they would owe. Yeah.
And you're taking care of any penalty, you're not doing penalties or anything, it's
Right.
just the amount, right?
Correct. We don't charge late fees.
Okay.
Yep, and they don't receive a penalty.
Ms. Carter, you got a question?
Yeah, you said, Elijah, you said there's 7 more by July 1st, so will that 30,000 be included with these 7?
Yeah, so July 1st, they already have 7 pending that would start. This would help those individuals as well.
I didn't hear you.
This would help those individuals as well, so that 49 would be reflective of those 7.
Oh.
And go ahead.
It didn't say it. Okay, I got it.
And I did make a note that if for any reason a tenant did, we were able to zero out their balance and for some reason they overpaid, that we would return that funding. So I made a note that I'll communicate that to the finance team.
How many times has this request been granted before?
It's the first time we've ever asked.
Oh.
I
So,
thought it came up before.
yeah.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
When you asked, they said, yes, it's happened before.
We were told that this has happened before,
This request came recently.
but we didn't grant it.
No, it came
Recently,
to
like
us.
this week.
Oh,
This
yeah,
past
but this
week.
request has never happened before.
Correct. Right. This request came to us after the Planning and Oversight Committee meeting. And it was a much larger request. And after meeting with NPI and discussing who and what and where, we settled on those who are actively trying to cover their arrearage at this dollar amount that's projected.
Where I'm going, and this isn't as much for you as it is just for like my fellow board members, is that if this was a pattern in the past, and we know that we have a big need to serve the unhoused in our community, and they have a dual diagnosis, then we shouldn't ad hoc this regularly every 6 or 12 months, and we should actually address it. That's my point. But if this isn't a pattern in the past, and then I guess the question is for you, is this something that we anticipate seeing in the future? If we satisfy these balances, what happens in 6 months? How often should we be stepping in and helping, and how much, and I guess who, right? Those are the nature of my questions, right? Is that fair?
I think I need clarification, just on one point, so I can truck along. So far, I'm trucking just good. In the history of the board, have we addressed this issue before?
Let me say, since I've been here, I
Okay,
do not
perfect.
recall addressing
Okay.
this specific issue.
So this is a first time ask? Okay, I needed to make
Yeah,
sure I had that.
I just got
Right.
that too.
Yeah.
So
So, but in a response, because you asked some very valid questions, we do have, I think it's reasonable to say the economy is
It's not
in-
looking good.
people are struggling to make ends meet. So this is a cyclical kind of a conversation that we're having here, based on the environmental factors of which we have very little control over, right? So the short-term fix is designed to get somebody over the hump of this issue. That doesn't mean that it will resolve the underlying problem,
I
right?
don't expect it to.
But you're right, we shouldn't expect it to, but what we should see is a rededication to those individuals that are receiving this enhanced subsidy, to working with NPI on their repayment plan. You know, we're giving a reprieve, because if we step in and say, and this is my opinion, if we step in and say, each year, we're going to give NPI $60,000 to address arrearages, guess what? You're gonna have $60,000 worth of arrearages, right? Because we're gonna teach those individuals to pay a little bit and then rely on the mental health board for additional subsidy, both in bad economic times and in good economic times. They're required by federal law to apply a 30% of their income to the cost of the housing. So they have to do that. That's where their reimbursement modeling comes from, correct? What we're saying is those that fall short of paying that 30%, but pay something, are worthy of our investment in continuing to be housed. Short of this, they are going to get evicted.
Has your agency tried to declare it just a bad debt and write it off on the books versus coming to the board to ask for funding? Kind of like what hospitals do, as a non-for-profit, just write it off as a bad debt and have your accountant deal with that way?
I knew you were gonna ask me that.
We asked this question during our meeting. They write it off after the eviction.
Oh, that destroys the whole purpose.
Right. Thank you for that.
So my comment, not so much a question, but just to think about is that, and I think this is wonderful and I am for it, we're talking about the people that are actively trying,
Right.
right? I don't want to just assume the people that are throwing their hands up and saying, well, I'll just wait for eviction is because they're necessarily bad people or they're slackers. I mean, it may be a mental health issue. And so I hope that there's something to address those
Yeah.
kind of issues so somebody doesn't get to the point where they're like, well, you know, I know it's gonna be 3 or 4 months before they can evict me. And so, anyhow.
We do have a process in place for if someone, you know, comes to our desk and they owe rent arrearages, we will have meetings and conversations. We typically can identify what behavior is happening or what situation is happening that's preventing them from paying their rent, and then we work with that individual to come up with a plan and give them time to do those corrective action behaviors.
Yeah, just one last question.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to answer any questions. I appreciate the conversation.
The folks that are on Social Security, if any are on Social Security, is there like a representative payee, like St. Paul's Community Center, something that you can actually tie the payment direct? Because I've seen it.
That's a fair question, and there is, but it has to be the tenant's choice. And so the tenant inevitably will still have to make the choice to work with the payee. We highly recommend it. We know you all support the payee program with St. Paul's as well. We highly recommend it, but at the moment, it's not a requirement. We think it's only a strength, but it's not a requirement, and so we can't mandate it for them to do that. And if someone is having mental health struggles, they might not be able to make that decision. So we really try to walk with them and provide as many supports as possible to get them to that decision, just because it's the safest for their housing stability, but inevitably they still have a choice.
I mean, the reason why I ask is housing is essential.
Yeah.
Not be,
Yeah.
should not be
Yep.
on the streets.
Yep,
So, okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah?
Real
Senator?
quick question.
Sure.
Is there a way that when, you know, we're taking care of these arrearages, that you can use the fact that it's strongly recommended by the board? I mean, somehow, you know what I mean? Just, I don't know, without making it a requirement.
Yeah, yes. That's,
I don't even know if that's appropriate or not, but.
Well, we talked about that.
Yes.
We encourage, in this process, we're encouraging these people to also get on ACH to help smooth their payments going forward.
Yeah, just something. I mean, I just think sitting down with someone and having a payee, if they don't do ACH, but having a payee.
correct.
You know, one of those two options, you
I
know,
mean-
just to empower them and make sure they have a roof over their head more than anything.
I hear what you're saying, but method of payment isn't our issue, it is no money. You know, I mean, there are a million different ways to pay, but none if you don't have money. And so that's the, I mean, that's the part that,
I hear you.
yeah.
The ACH gets you first in line though. So, yes, no money is the issue.
It's a poll, but from an account with no money in it.
If, right, if they're, agree. Agree.
We understand the complexities.
Yeah.
We're removing barriers for them to pay, but if they don't have money, those, you know.
Those barriers
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, I appreciate, and I will motion to approve. This is a one-time ask. I think that, you know, we can have a robust conversation, hopefully.
Well, I think we'll do that as part of our prioritization process.
Yeah.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Thank you.
All right, roll call, please.
Thanks, Alex.
Mr. Albright?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Dr. Elhai? Yes. Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Reverend Gordon?
Yes.
Ms. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza-Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Ortley?
Yes.
And Mr. Salas?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 9 has been removed from the agenda, so please note that. Moving on to item 10, Ohio DBH, Northwest Ohio Adult Mobile Crisis. Scott?
Hello, everybody. Page 53, and I just wanted to make a quick note about the 4 things that appeared at the end of the agenda that wasn't presented in the planning and oversight or the executive and nominating. These items have come to us in a very quick fashion, and we chose to bring them in front of you so that we could expedite the spending of these dollars, and also with the understanding that we don't meet in July. So if we didn't bring it to you now, we would have had to hold these dollars until August, and then we would have been coming to you and saying we wanted to retroactively apply the contracts. And I'm well aware that we do not like to do retroactive when we can avoid it. So, so I just wanted to make sure that explained, and also that things are moving very fast. So the money is here today. No, we're not going to do that. Now applies to item 9 as to why it was pulled. We were set on a course of action. We applied for the money. We were told that, okay, this is the way it's going to be, and then the state changed course and said, no, you guys can apply through a different mechanism. So
Okay.
we pulled that. But the Ohio Department of Behavioral Health, Northwest Ohio Adult Pilot Crisis Project, I provided you in previous months a discussion of what we've been doing on that. If you recall, the state gave our region $2.5 million to implement adult mobile crisis throughout the region.
Yep.
There are 10 boards involved, 23 counties. 6 boards have operating adult mobile crises. 4 boards have no mobile crises. And the gist of the program is to develop adult mobile crisis response in the community within 90 days of April 26th with a clinician-led model that included a peer supporter. Many of our community providers have a clinician that respond, but the second person with them is what we call a qualified behavioral health specialist or qualified mental health tech. You'll hear those terms interchangeably. The state has mandated the clinician-led model with certified peer supporter as the model for Northwest Ohio pilot. As a consequence of that pilot or that decision, the reimbursement rate for Medicaid reimbursement rate for these services has reduced substantially because a qualified mental health tech can bill at essentially $39 every 15-minute unit versus a certified peer supporter that can only bill at $17.23 or something like that per unit. So that hit the bottom line of the provider network, of the providers, and that reduction was not contemplated during the application process. That decision came afterwards. So the state had indicated early on that to make up for that, I could make an application to them regarding a supplemental increase of up to $500,000. We did that earlier this month. They asked for me to come back with some additional specificity. We gave them the specificity that they required. So that, along with a justification for the cost of the data collection, because it's a pilot, there is a very robust enhanced data collection process that the providers have to go through. That typically is not included in their administrative costs or in the cost of the positions themselves. So the state has graciously offered an additional sum of money to those providers to allow them the time to collect the data needed for the pilot. That amount between the two is $481,947. That is the allocation that we've received tentative award, meaning yes, we approve we're waiting for the award document itself. What we're requesting today is permission to accept the supplemental grant award of $481,947 for the purposes of implementing the adult mobile crisis and authorize me to execute the agreements for that and to allocate the additional $481,947 to our contractors, which are the 9 other boards in the area and Zeph Center. These model the previous motions that we had on the original request for approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Just
So you guys are gonna handle all the oversight for these dollars?
Yes.
What's accountability, all that comes from
Yes.
all in-house?
Yes. That was what we signed up for when we did the lead.
Original.
And we have built into the contract, the original contract, a consultant amount for TBD Solutions to act as a project lead. So while staff are consuming some of our time, the majority of that is falling to the consultant to do. So.
Just so I'm clear, the first half of the motion is to accept the money. The second half is to how to spend the money. It's
To
not
allocate, to allocate.
480 plus 2.
That's correct.
Times 2, okay.
Yes.
All right. So we have before us a motion, again, as stated, 2 motions, one to accept, one to allocate. I'd like to take those in one vote. Motion?
So moved.
Second. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Albright?
Yes?
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Dr. Elhai?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Reverend Gordon?
Yes.
Ms. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza-Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Ortley?
Yes.
And Mr. Salas?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 11, Elijah, please, SOS 4.0 year. carryover?
Yeah, so we have the opportunity from the Ohio Department of Behavioral Health to accept carryover dollars from the state opioid stimulus response grant year one. So not the current year we're in, the previous year, they had some underspending, and they're giving opportunities to boards to utilize that. These funds need to be utilized basically by the end of September 29th, 2026. Because of this quick turnaround, we had to go with programs that we've previously funded, who know how this funding works, who are familiar with the documentation and the reporting requirements. Therefore, we're recommending funding for the Toledo-Lucas County Health Department to purchase and install 3 new Narcan vending machines in the community, and then to provide recovery housing funding to Zeph Center, Unison Health, Ohio Grindstone, and T. Whitehead. Those allocations you'll see in the write-up were based on the number of beds they have in the system and their ability to spend the money. So we got this notice mid last week, so we had to quickly work with our providers to figure out how we could allocate this for the recovery housing, and so we would have liked more time to plan, but we needed to get this off because we would have had to bring this back in August, and that would have gave us about a month then to spend the money. Yeah.
So they just need to be allocated, not necessarily spent, right? They have the whole plan, the whole time period
They have until the end of September to use the money.
to use the money.
Yes.
Yeah, that's to spend down, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're confident they can.
Oh, they're, okay. Good for them.
Yeah. So you'll see a series of motions that allow us to accept the money and then allocate to each institution there.
Can we take them all at once?
All righty, motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any additional questions? So we have the motion to, one motion is to accept the $405,000 approximately, and then we have 5 separate motions to allocate. But we're gonna take them as one. Understood? Yeah. All right, roll call.
Mr. Salas?
Yes.
Mr. Ortley?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza Locke? Yes. Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Harding? Yes. Reverend Gordon?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Dr. Elhai?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
And Mr. Albright?
Yes.
Motion passes. Director's report.
All right, I have a few brief things that I'd like to present to you today, but the first thing I'm gonna do is start out with, by now, everybody's heard about what happened at the Old West End and the 12 people who were injured during the mass shooting. I'm asking our Director of Community Engagement and Equity for one last, before July 1, when I change his title, to come up and do a brief, high-level summary of our board's response in wake of 2 Saturdays ago, I guess, shooting.
All right, thanks, Scott. I normally don't need paper, but we had a pretty good response, so I need a little bit of paper to keep up with it. There's a lot going on. As many of you know, we had the incident on that Saturday, June 6th, and immediately our team began to share text messages about what was happening. So the first thing we had to do was make sure they were okay, because we had staff there, and initially we were there for working the event, but at that point we were just had one employee left there, so we made sure they were good. We made sure staff was safe, and then from that point, Robert, and not to use names from this point forward because the entire staff worked, so I would have to name everybody, but Robert did initially engage with partners immediately to find out what our response could be on Saturday. He began to talk to different individuals to figure out what should we be doing, should there be a novel response, start to classify what our level of response could be on Saturday. By Sunday, our team had orchestrated a response that was on Facebook in solidarity to stand with them, but to provide resources in the community so that the community was fully aware of what happened. So Faith was able to put that up. And from there, Monday morning, the phones rang. So we began to make calls. People began to call us. And it started out with a PSA. Immediately to get resources out into the community. So we wanted to make sure the community was aware that if they were impacted by the incident, whether they were there or not, here were the resources. So Cumulus was the first to put that PSA together for us. We had to write it, record it in my office, package it, mix it down. Thank you for some skills we have another lifetimes, right? And get that issued over to the radio station. But then we realized we probably needed to get that to other stations. So we called the Juice. They worked with us very closely, and they mastered that, mixed it down for urban radio stations, which is a little different mix than it would be for other radio stations. Doesn't sound the same on ESPN as it does the Juice, right? They put music behind it, packaged it, sent it to us, and then we were able to take that same thing and get to Glass City Radio. So hot mix and all of Glass City Radio, because if you get familiar with our radio now, iHeart owns almost everything, right? Seems like, and so it takes a lot of work to get to various stations, but we were able to do that to get to almost every station locally with that PSA. And so not only did we able to do that, we then created a larger radio ad, one that would actually go into more detail. We partnered with the city of Toledo with language to make sure that the resources that they were recommending and the resources we recommended overlapped and were connected in a concerted effort. And we did a radio ad that highlighted all of that, right, for our citizens. So we did a 30-second and a 60-second. It was almost impossible to do it in 30 seconds. Let me tell you, it took about 45 tries, no exaggeration, to get it pared down to 0.9 seconds. And to be able to do that was amazing. So we were able to get that investment into our community so that would go through during drive time. Drive time, 7 to 9 a.m. in the morning, was it 3 to 5:30 in the evening, and lunchtime. So those, you've been familiar with that forever, and so we were able to get lunchtime slid in there. And with every station, shout out to our community, right? Every station gave us more than the normal free ads. Like, you can always work free ads if you've been around long enough, you know how to do that. But they gave us more than normal in free ads to go along with that. And so I want to say those were our first level of responses. But then, of course, during that day, we got a call. Elijah got a call in from the library asking us to come to the library and begin to table. And they provided us a room behind where we tabled. So it wasn't just that we had a table at the library. There's a room behind it where staff has had to counsel or talk with, I should say those who are qualified, but be able to talk with and calm down those who were impacted directly by the impact of what happened. The media came out, so we were interviewed. So there's a lot of unearned media that happened that day, and goodwill and fortune for us to be able to provide resources into the community. We did that during the day and in the evening, Monday through Saturday. And then we decided that we wanted to do that again this week in conjunction with the library. So we also invited this week out our partners, Harbor, Unison, Zeph, and Ohio Guidestone, to come take time to also stand with us in solidarity while we were doing that. As well as we partnered with the Old West End response on last Monday that they did at Collingwood Presbyterian Church. So there was a local mental health agency jumped in and began to host debriefing sessions. We went to both of those sessions and provided resources at that session as well, because while they had some very solid resources, there were a couple of key resources that they did not have that we were able to make available to them, and options we were able to present at that meeting as well. So I think that worked out really well. We were able to create a resource list that combines on one side what we would consider our mental health resources, and then the other side has the City of Toledo's resources that they were recommending. A couple of those that I thought were very significant was the Toledo-Lucas County Victim and Wellness Assistance, as well as the Healing and Compassion Fund that Monty actually pushes out. And why that was important to us was because there's a QR code that the community could scan that would allow anyone affected by gun violence, not just Old West End, but there's about 7 or 8 shootings since then, right? That would allow you to be able to get support, whether it was security camera, whether it was something happening, you need support for a ramp at home, whether you needed to be relocated for a little while because of the danger. The Healing and Compassion Fund does a lot of things up to $2,000, and so we thought that was very important in our meeting with you, City of Toledo, to make sure we had that connection and involvement. So we made sure we did that. We went to the press conference that they had, several of us, on last Tuesday, and then that afternoon while we were in the board meeting, some staff went over and stood with Monty in support of June being recognized as National Gun Violence Month, and then participated in the Monty meeting where there were several organizations that we were able to help connect to resources in our community and individuals that were directly connected to resources because of our presence and our involvement being there. So to me, again, that was a pretty big deal for us to be involved. We also did some geofencing. So immediately, one of the recommendations was for us to geofence. So we decided to geofence 1 mile around the old West End. So 1 mile in each direction, north, west, east, and south. If you're within 1 mile and you put in certain keywords or you do certain things, you're going to see a banner pop up on your phone, right? In certain places and different digital media leading you to resources. So letting you know that help is there, compassion is there, support is there. And that was a significant investment that we were able to do with one partner, while we're also going to do different style of geofencing utilizing social media and billboards. That's also in the process with rolling billboards. So you'll see it with those billboards that are digital because they're easier to do. And there's one billboard that is static, the old billboard where you would paint and pull the piece over the canvas. We'll do one of those, but those are more expensive. Yeah, they stay longer, but they take longer to get up. And so you say, why is it taking a little while? Because it takes a while for them to actually print that and get it up. So those are some things that we did immediately. We also work with the CISM, Critical Incident Stress Management, to make sure we got that out. For dispatchers, Toledo dispatchers, we were told by several individuals that the dispatchers were impacted the highest out of all the first responders. And so we began to immediately work with the CISM team to make sure that they had debriefing sessions and that was coordinated with their EAP along with ProMedica. And so we jumped in to make sure that was put together pretty quickly. We did EAP for our own staff as well Tuesday morning. So we didn't want to just do things out in the community and forget about our own staff. So at the recommendation and request, we were able to put that in place, that our EAP came in Tuesday morning and sat with any staff that was willing to have that conversation about how they were feeling and how they were impacted after the situation that took place. And then NOVA's in progress. We began to work with the city again to have a NOVA response where they wanted something evidence-based, and they were familiar with that from training that this board was able to help others in the community acquire. And so they asked us to kind of be the key to that, because they felt like some of the responses that were happening in the community so far wasn't evidence-based, and it was being done by people who were also impacted. So they wanted an outside group. And so now we're coordinating the times for that to be done for city employees, for city council, and in conjunction with the library for those who want to be able to come to the library and debrief. One of the things we keep hearing yesterday and today is that people once who thought they didn't need to talk to anybody now realize a week later that they do. And so that's a lot of the support that happened. We did the gun take back day. We were doing a joint response with MOTSE. And I think I got everything. If I didn't, I mean, it's a lot. What did I miss, Scott?
Toledo Community Foundation reached out to us.
It is right in front of me.
To identify a long-term care solution for people that might be seeking services. We were able to connect them with Harbor's EAP program, and we're working to develop a strategy where you do EAP-like services for residents of the Northwest End and those impacted by the gun violence on that Saturday, as a way for Toledo Community Foundation donors to actually donate into and help support the cost of treatment. We may end up jump-starting that with some emergency funding, but I'll bring that to your attention if we do that in August as required. I think that is.
Well, one more thing. We created this. We mentioned that we created this, but the other thing that we did with this was we put it on a designated page with a box on our website at the lcmentallyWell.com so that people would be able to go directly there. And we're in the process of creating a QR code to make it easier to advertise in the community, so you don't have to think about what the title of the website is. They would just be able to click that, similar to they do our app, and they'll be able to go right to the resources. And if it was an emergency, it'll be loaded with Zeph's number. So they'll be able to click it, go right there, and Zeph will be right there ready for it to call. So that's it. Thank you.
Way reached out to us as well. They actually manage the Compassion Fund, and every staff member within the programs and services and community engagement, to include our manager of communications, Robert, and all the folks sitting there have just done yeoman's work.
I just want to say that response was absolutely outstanding. And just document that, because I don't know if we'll ever have to have a levy again. I can just see the bullet points, one by one, all the things we've done. Who can, sometimes you have to remind the public of what has happened. You know, as time passes, you forget, but that should be documented.
Elijah, you have anything to add, because you've been in the middle of this as well?
Yeah, I think, you know, it was really impactful being at the library and having we've had people who were actually victims of being shot stop by and talk to us about their experience. And I think many of us thought, oh, we'll go there and probably, you know, see a couple people. We're just going to be at the library, but the library really advertised it. We had media, so we had people who might not have been going to the library anyway, stop in just to come talk to us. And you know, as Michael said, several staff have spent a lot of time talking to individuals, up to like 45 minutes or more, in a separate room, providing some, you know, active listening and support.
Come on, Robert, you can't help yourself.
I just want to add that, to like what Elijah was saying about being at the library. Board staff was at the library all last week, and we got some information from our providers. So today we had Zeph is at the library this week. Tomorrow, Unison, and Harbor was also signed up. So it's kind of a system response to folks. So that was really good too. And they were eager to come out. So that was good to see our providers taking that extra step to help out the community.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Good job. Board, staff.
Well, just a couple of things that I think could really be powerful is if my fellow trustees here agree, a letter from this board to the media that helped us out, thanking them, and any others that you would identify that we should be thanking them with, you know, with a formal letter.
We can make that happen.
I just think it would be really nice, especially with the whole system response that Robert spoke of too.
My ask is that, I know we're going to get a printed copy of that. Can we get an electronic copy of that document so that we can, for the board members, so that we can circulate it as well?
Robert, can you make that happen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was the first thing. You may have heard something about a property tax constitutional amendment. If you've been paying attention to the news, you now know that they are not likely to be in the 26th general election. They have not collected enough signatures to submit. So now it appears that they will be targeting the November 27 election. That will be their next opportunity to be on the ballot. So there's a bit of a reprieve for now, but we know the devastation that could occur if that vote passes. So I think I don't need to say anything more on that. In light of what's been passed today, I wanted you to know that we had a pretty long discussion this morning at our staff meeting related to the cost of health benefits and the response from the board. Staff wanted to know let the trustees know that they're very aware of the costs that we provide as a board to offset their health care, and they're very appreciative of the benefits, and particularly the new motion to reduce their expenses related to health care. Then finally, we have 3 trustees that is today's last meeting. Yes, Ms. Banks sends her apologies that she could not be here. She was very ill today and again sent her apologies, but felt it was prudent not to attend. Ms. Harding and Mr. Arnold. Today is their last meeting. We appreciate all the work that you've done. You've all served as leadership, on various leadership positions. We just appreciate your dedication and willingness to share your talents with us, so thank you.
We're gonna miss you both.
So you also know that we don't meet in July. So our next meeting will be our Planning and Oversight Committee meeting on August 4th, with our full board meeting on August 18th. And I'll be on vacation starting the June 26th through July 13th. I will be available by text or email when I'm not on the lake. So feel free to text me and I'll respond when I can. Other than that, I wish you all good summer and enjoy your summer. That's
So
it.
Scott, for non-emergencies, so we don't reach out to you because you deserve a vacation, who is your point person?
We will announce that and I will send that to you.
Okay.
I always have a chain of succession.
Because you do deserve a vacation.
Thank you.
And you do
Um,
to
But
unplug.
I will send out an email saying, in my absence, please contact. I just need to evaluate who's going to be here the majority of the time, that kind of
And
stuff.
will we be welcoming new trustees in August?
My understanding is if you don't know, Reverend Gordon has already been reappointed to the board by a different appointing authority, the state, so he will be joining us once again. His term actually ended, his county term ends at the end of this meeting as well, or June 30th. And my understanding is 3 additional new trustees, and as well as hopefully the reappointment of Major White will occur at the county commissioners meeting, I believe, on the 30th.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We're pending yours and Christina's, your applications have been submitted. I'm waiting for the state to send your paperwork down to me so I can fill it out with the recommendation.
I just want to check in.
I just checked yesterday again.
Very good. Thank you, Scott.
Happy vacation.
All right,
Thank you.
open session. Richard?
It's been a long day, so please bear with me. The county commissioners I attended this morning is one of the ugliest meetings I can remember in a long time. Got into a 40-minute argument about the jail, ended when Sobieski said, "I've had enough of this." To start with, it was like holding a meeting in a meat locker. They can't control the temperature down there. People were bringing sweaters and stuff. And in the second place, I guess you're going to have Fido Freedom Days. That's where if your dog runs away during the July 4th because of all the fireworks. So they had a pit bull there, and the pit bull wasn't happy. For about it was a female named Juanita, and for about a half an hour during all this arguing, was pretty well behaved, but then started to get very, very anxious. I lost count of how many treats they gave this dog. And I think the dog caught on. If I misbehave, I get another treat. So they finally, at the end of the, okay. It started when Lisa Sobieski brought something from last week. This is an amendment to what they approved back in January. This is a group in Columbus that's going to give us an estimate. What can we do with our current jail and cost effects and all sorts of things like that. And so then she invited the sheriff to come up to the podium, and as soon as she did, Anita just jumped all over it. I've got a whole bunch of comments to make. This was an ambush, that's my opinion. And so she went on and on. She accused the sheriff, "You and your administrative staff are taking too many trips out of state and staying at fancy hotels and eating at fancy restaurants," and stuff like that. And went on and on. "I expect you to come before this board on a quarterly basis and give us an update on how you've reduced costs." That didn't go over well with anybody. So an exchange between Anita Lopez and the sheriff, then an exchange between Pete Gherkin and the sheriff, then an exchange between Pete Gherkin and Anita Lopez. And so Sobieski brought it to an end after about 40 minutes. Lopez was right in the middle of a comment. She said, "That's it." So she asked for a vote and the vote was to table this indefinitely. She voted against that. The other two commissioners voted for it. And you'll see it all on the 6 o'clock news now because everybody was there and they filmed the whole thing and they stayed after us. At the end of the meeting, the only happy person in the room was the dog. And so after that, I had to wait until they came out of executive session. They had some human services stuff to do. And I actually missed most of the city council meeting. But when they did finally come down, they voted on a few human resources issues, and out the door they went. I wanted to ask them something. I wanted to ask them what's the status of the Children's Services Board Task Force report. Now, this is my understanding. Do not quote me. It's supposed to be on June the 30th. That's when the contract they have with this facilitator runs out. And I don't think they have an overtime clause. They'll have to pay us more money if they don't do it on the 30th. That's their next meeting. And it will be, I don't know, about 24 recommendations, and it's going to be controversial. Some people will say that goes too far. Some will say it doesn't go far enough. But that's supposed to happen on the 30th, and it's supposed to give guidelines to the Children's Services Board how they can be more responsive to the community. I wanted to ask the commissioners about it, but they didn't get to. But it's scheduled to be on the 30th. So, on a happier note, let's see. It'll be paid for out of levy funds. 911 will do a consulting services to perform radio system needs. The low bidder was $57,345. It's Mission Critical Partners, and they're in Port Matilda, Pennsylvania. I've never been there. But they will do that over the next 4 to 6 months, give 911 a better understanding of what they can do. If I understand this correctly, we receive stuff for the Sheriff's Department through Vance Public Safety Equipment, and we trade back in the old outdated equipment. So we're going to get $163,713.75 worth of credit, and that will go towards purchase of a lot of new equipment. Everybody needs a new pistol. So we'll get $86,798.77 worth of pistols. Pete Gergen said, how many pistols is that? They didn't know, but everybody that needs a new pistol is going to get one. So that's the end of the county commissioners. Then I went across the hall to city council. I did not get to hear the mayor's comments on the safety zones and all that. By the time he'd already finished, and they had the legal department, and they had a whole bunch of other people answering questions. Who can you stop? Who can't you stop? Who can you question? Who can't you question? Whose bag can you search? Who can't? It's complicated. So they didn't seem to come up with much of anything. They went directly from that into another controversial issue. This is the security cameras that record the license plate. We've had this contract with Flock for 20 years, but City Council has been deluged, not my word, deluged with a bunch of negative emails. So don't quote me on this, but contract runs out August the 1st. We're coming into a Juneteenth, a federal holiday weekend. On Monday, they hope to have a meeting. I don't even know if it's a safety committee meeting or a meeting of the whole, and it's at 4 p.m. with public testimony for the public to come in so that the very next day they can vote on this contract. The police officers that were there, I asked them what was going on. They didn't even know, but it was all done at the last minute. But hopefully on Monday sometime they will come up with answers about this. And they went on and on about these cameras. They help find children that have been abducted in custody cases. They help find Alzheimer's patients, all the good things. But some people say the information is being misused, and they're just not happy. So hopefully next Tuesday, City Council will vote on that. And just as I left, I had to come to this meeting. This is a good thing. The city will spend $34,560 from the general fund. It's going to be for the youth workforce, and they'll train them and give them equipment to go out to people who have disabilities or elderly and mow their lawn. And they even have a name for it. It's called Mobility Aid. Get it? Mobility. And that's from the Community Safety, Connectivity, and Youth Jobs Program. And they were talking about just as I left, and that's a really good thing. I don't know if this is a good thing. The animal shelter that is located at, 640 Wyman Street, been there since 1930. Everybody agrees they do a great job, but some of the neighbors are not happy. They need a zone change in order to expand, and last week Plan Commission voted against it. Now that means it goes to City Council, zoning and planning committee as disapproved, and they can then overturn it. Or if they don't, then the council as a whole can. But everybody in the room agreed, they're doing a great job, but there was one person in attendance who said the neighbors are not happy, and apparently there's barking dogs and things like that. But that will go to city council as disapproved. I don't know what's going to happen there. Had to go back into my files for this. In March of '22, a zone change was approved right next door to Lutheran Social Services. They used to be a contract agency, and it's for a 6,650 square foot addition with 46 parking spaces, and then, that was 4 years ago. Nothing, and I just figured funding fell through or something. No, it's still going on, and so during the director's report of last week's Plan Commission, they said, we will recommend to the Old West End Historic District Commission to approve this. And I don't know what their time frame is, but if you know their food pantry there, it's bursting at the seams. They knew that during the pandemic, and it's only gotten worse. So hopefully, in the near future, I believe they have the funding in place, they will do a great deal of, they knocked down the building there, and they will expand both their offices and their food program right next door on Collingwood, and hopefully it's not going to have any adverse effect on the Old West End. That will be a welcome addition. So that is a very brief report on what's going on. Remember, they're on the summer schedule over there, so that just complicates everything. So thanks a lot.
All right, we stand adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.